Hey, I'm Michael Waddell, and I'm excited to have a deep conversation about my view on turkey hunting and help you understand more of why I love it so much and why it means so much to me. Through that, I know there'll be haters because obviously everybody has their opinions, but I'm not here for the haters. I certainly respect everybody's opinion, just like I have my own opinion, and hopefully through what we're talking today, you get a better understanding of why it means so much to me, and you'll hopefully take away why you too can have a reason to love turkey hunting even deeper than what's on the surface. The reason I love turkey hunting so much, let's start with the approach and what turkey hunting is. Obviously, if you grow up hunting and fishing, and you understand wildlife and you understand the approach, each animal has a different approach. My personal opinion, the turkey has one of the most unique approaches because it gives you an opportunity to be on the offensive. You have to understand your habitat, you have to understand the lay of the land, and you also understand through all of that what a turkey needs in habitat to survive from predation. And so I love it so much because it gives you an opportunity to dig deep in how they communicate. And so with that, it gives you an opportunity to learn a whole different language. I never was that best student in, say, French or Spanish class. And still, I don't really know how to communicate in a language other than Southern English. But I did learn a different language, and it was turkey lingo, from what these hen turkeys are saying, what their poults are saying when they come out of the egg, to even the gobble and the intensity, calking, even spitting drums, and what they mean in this conversation. And so on the surface, you can think of it as a simple yelp, or you can think of it as cutting. But for me, it all flows no different than our dialect we're talking now, based on the way we communicate and the way we talk. So once you learn that, it gives you a way to manipulate and have a conversation with a complete wild animal. So outside of our family pets, what are we really doing to communicate with these animals? If you look at other things like duck hunting, elk hunting, certainly predator calling, you have an opportunity to use certain sounds. But in the chance to talk to turkeys, you truly are having a conversation. You truly are coming in and being somebody that's out of the flock, that is not part of this pecking order, and trying to fit in. So it gets really deep. So that part of turkey hunting is so amazing. It also gives you an opportunity to flow through the woods and to walk and understand what's out there. You get to learn your land a lot better. You might see an arrowhead. You might see a better pinch point that you can look at taking advantage of come deer season. You get the chance to see creeks and things that are on your property that you know are there, but maybe you didn't understand certain elements of it because you had a chance to walk it as you're trying to find a turkey. It also gives you an opportunity to chill out and maybe get to know a friend better, your kid, your wife, because there's times to be very serious, but there's times that you can chat and you can walk and talk and be casual. And so turkey hunting has every element. It gives you an opportunity to be that Navy SEAL, or very tactical, because so many times these turkeys let you know their location, and so you're not guessing. You're not sitting, waiting, and wondering. A lot of times you know exactly where this turkey is located, but he still might be 200-300 yards away, and you realize you got to get him within 40-50 yards to maybe put your tag on him. So for me, turkey hunting gives somebody who loves to hunt the ultimate opportunity to be a woodsman. It gives them an opportunity to understand what's out there in the wild. It gives them an opportunity to be physical, while yet always mentally thinking of what is the next play. So it literally is the ultimate game when it comes to hunting overall. I think that's just some of the reasons I love it. And once you get past just the thought of that and what you do, the technique and the tips can be really deep. And a lot of them can be taught as far as the sounds and the language. But until you go have these communications, until you have these opportunities to experience it, you're not going to be able to take full advantage of it, and nor will you be able to learn until you get out there and apply it. It's no different than if you're going to start framing houses. You can read a book on how to build a wall, but until you build those walls, you're not going to be the best carpenter or contractor. And so the same applies to turkey hunting. So it can be really deep, it can be really fascinating, and that's why I love it so much. And when it comes to the hunting application, literally, you get to be this redneck David Copperfield and, SEAL Team 6 all in one, because you got to have proper camouflage. You've got to be able to blend into your environment. You also got to understand deeply what this language is. So you got to be able to manipulate. Manipulation is something sometimes people get sideways with, because what is proper and ethical manipulation? Well, you be the judge. I can just teach you ways to manipulate. And we all who turkey hunt understand that whether it's through language or being sexy, whether you a hen that's trying to put on a little mini skirt and some fishnets, or whether you trying to be sophisticated and talk business, or whether you just trying to have a conversation with these other hens where you can fit into the flock and maybe be the girl's girl. There's so many different ways that you are manipulating and trying to fit in. So instead of going to maybe a local gathering where there's a lot of people and you're trying to do the same thing with the English language, just put yourself in the woods, and all of a sudden you're not a human at that point. You become, again, Copperfield, because you are trying to become something that you're not. We stand upright, we walk loud, we walk clumsy. We obviously are not scratching around looking for worms and leftover acorns. We hope to have a piece of fried chicken at the end of this hunt. But that moment in time, you are becoming a hen. You potentially are becoming this gobbler, and you in the flock, and you're trying to find a way to fit in. So it all is manipulation, whether it's through what you're saying, the way you're moving, even the cadence of how you walk is just like a turkey. A turkey has 2 feet. Humans have 2 feet. So all this starts applying. So you are, and to be successful and to take it to a level that is beyond what most people take it, you become this turkey. And you become thinking what he's thinking, what he's wanting, what his desire is. Is it to eat? Is he dominant? Is he subordinate? Is he a young turkey? Listening to his gobble, giving him exactly what he needs to hear to give him security or excitement and anxiety, either to come to you because he's mad that another gobbler's in his area, or because he is eager to breed. Or you might be talking to a gobbler that's very subordinate, that really kind of wants to fit in. So you're picturing this, I call it the mall stud who's sitting around, got his new britches on. He's hanging out over at Dippin' Dots and he's wanting to be cool. But then all of a sudden a girl comes by and looks at him and says, "Hey, you're cute." And man, he turns red and just eats his Dippin' Dots. Well, if you're dealing with that in a turkey, that's hard to manipulate. But you always got, the Karate Kid over there, Cobra Kai guy, that the girl comes by and says, "You're cute." And he's like, "Girl, let's go to the arcade. Let's go hang out the rest of the day." So every bit of that communication, you got to understand this is what you're dealing with. And when you get deep into it, that's where it becomes fascinating. That's where it becomes cool, and it becomes deeper than what most people bring. And that's when a yelp becomes more than just a yelp. A gobble becomes more than a gobble. And so when you're learning how to inflect these things and teach these things, and you're able to adopt it and find success, whether it's with a decoy, whether it's with a call, whether it's in your movement, whether it's trying to adjust your position to maybe 10 yards closer, whether you got a buddy calling from behind you, it's all being deceptive. It's all coming into this flock and inevitably bringing this turkey in range with a bow or shotgun and to put your tag on it and to fry them up in some peanut oil. That's what we're trying to do. How we do it, there's a lot of different ways. There's a lot of different tactics. There's a lot of different technique. You can judge what limits you to that. In a lot of cases, the state, they will limit us to what we can do in this manipulation, certainly going by the law. But from my standpoint, I certainly limit myself more than any state would ever do that because of my love for the turkey. Meaning, when you take a deep dive into conservation of turkey, a lot of people get all sideways about a certain way that you might take a turkey. I never do, because every one of us have different responsibilities in life. Some of us, like myself, very blessed. I get a chance during the turkey season pretty much every day of my life, pending a family emergency, and the business is having an opportunity to learn more about turkey, developing product, and recruiting new hunters to the sport. I get a chance to hunt all the time. So I'm not going to be the guy that's going to try to judge or be the jury to condemn someone in a tactic as long as it's within the legal means of the laws, because I realize that there's a lot of people out there that's pursuing a turkey that has worked 50 hours a week and maybe has that one Saturday morning. Maybe he hasn't had the opportunity, or she, to dig deep into the philosophy of turkey hunting and what it means. Maybe they only have that quick morning hunt before a ball game, before a dance recital, before a family function, or maybe, there's time that, mom and dad, husband and wife got to spend time together. So they only are limited to that 1 or 2 hours they have that Saturday morning. So who am I to say you're worthy if you use a ground blind or a decoy or a certain tactic? So I think we can get sometimes very, in my opinion, dictator and narcissistic in our approach of defining what ethics are, because so many people don't have the same opportunities and can't get a chance to put that much time into it. And so when you look at all of this, I just want to be able to share everything that can work, whether you have a lot of time to hunt turkeys or whether you only have a limited time to hunt turkeys. When it comes to the conservation of turkeys, any of us that's hunting turkeys in a place to where we feel like they're unsustainable, or maybe they're inadequate, or maybe they're on a decline, we have to ask ourselves, is there a proper way to make you feel ethical? Whether you did it with a call and some old camouflage, whether you got your granddaddy's old camouflage hat that was passed down from World War II, are you walking around barefooted? Are you sitting beside a live oak or a pine tree? Are you using a 410 or a 12 gauge or a bazooka? Does it really matter if you're shooting that turkey based on what you deem, ethical? So in my opinion on turkey conservation, I think your more ethical turkey hunters are not worried about the tactics. They're worried about what this land can hold and how and if they should take any turkeys. And regardless of what the state says, they limit themselves to that. A prime example is, in Georgia, where you hear a lot of conversation about, are we having a decline in turkey populations and things like that? Well, guess what? The last 2 years, I brought upon myself that I haven't even shot a turkey in Georgia. It's not because I'm not capable, and it's not because I'm not capable of doing it a certain way that somebody thinks is ethical. It's just because I am a private landowner. I love my turkeys more than any hater. I love my turkeys more than any game warden. I love my turkeys more than any government official. I love my turkeys more than any nonprofit organization, because they live on my land. Just like I love my kids, I have to provide a home for them. I have to provide food in the cupboard. Ain't nobody coming to do it. Not the haters, not the lovers, not the nonprofits. Nobody is. I take it on myself as a responsible citizen and somebody who loves my youngins to make sure they got some Little Debbies and some grits and some bacon in the freezer. I take it upon myself to make sure they got some ground meat, that I would make them cheeseburgers. Well, I take another step also for the wildlife that live on my land, including the turkeys, from habitat to structure to making sure that I got enough dirt holes out there and trying to catch coyotes, foxes, and bobcats, that I understand the habitat, that I'm burning in a way to where it's helping the turkeys, where I'm still giving them adequate cover. I'm doing things that are constantly giving back, whether it's planting acres of millet, whether it's planting acres of sorghum, whether it's even at times having during certain periods of time that where you want to feed turkeys, not because you're trying to cheat and take a turkey over them, because you want to make sure that these turkeys have everything to survive. From the standpoint of the high grass so they can bug, that these poults when it comes May and June have adequate protein. So in the process of trying to be a dedicated stone cold killer in your tactics and understanding that knowing these things and knowing the application are nice, but then you have this danger in you and this understanding that you can take it to the next level. But I think what you find in any stone cold killer, we are the ones that also conserve, because we want to make sure that they're here not just for us to use certain tactics, but for our kids and our grandkids and their kids and grandkids. So if you look at it overall, it's the hunters that give back. It is the opportunity to bring new people into it to love it more that's going to serve the protection. So yes, it is the people, even the haters, that serve to a certain degree protection. But I'm never going to try to protect anything by condemning my fellow hunter, because it's important that we all do it together. So the philosophy for me when it gets down to it, when you love something and you're good at it and you understand how to be successful at it, it always leads to a higher responsibility. One is to not be selfish and narcissistic to where you just want to hoard it up just for yourself. You want to bring a friend into it. You want to bring your kids into it. You want to help your wife who maybe has never decided to want to go outside and walk around where rattlesnakes and maybe cottonmouths abound because they're worried about that, but you want to take them under their wing and help them understand what it's like to hear a gobbling turkey, to possibly get a shot, but more importantly, to spend that quality time in the good Lord's, resources and to see what it's about. So it's so much deeper than trying to be the judge and jury. It's really about being able to understand it in a very deep way, to understand how to conserve, but also understand how to have every tactic out there that if you got a turkey in the field that you understand how to make him break. You never know, that could be your one opportunity to get that. And so inevitably, I think we as hunters got to come together in a deeper way. I also think when you look at the heritage of turkey hunting, it kind of gets sideways as well because people think that things stay the same. The heritage and the grassroots of most everything does stay the same, whether it's family, whether it's society, whether it's, the GC and D and how we play guitar, but everything evolves. So you can never completely do away with evolution. The people I looked up to the most, whether it's people like Will Primos, Harold and David, Paul Butsky, Dick Kirby. Well, if you look at what they did they have a lot of heritage? Yeah, they had a ton of heritage when it come to their pursuit of turkey hunting and the vibe of that turkey camp. And I would love to have them all. Some people, Billy McCoy's and the Dick Kirby, rest in peace. They went on to the green grasses of heaven. And I guarantee you, they hearing gobbling turkeys up there because I feel like heaven would have some turkeys in it. But look at the evolution. What did Paul Butsky do for us turkey callers? He was one of the first guys that created a cutter call. What did Neil Cost do? He helped invent and deliver a boat paddle call that's helped a lot of people be successful. What did Harold Knight and David Hale do? They helped develop push-pull at a higher level where they could be manufactured that we all found success. What did Will Primos do? Will made decoys efficiently. He created blinds. He created better calls. And what did they do? They brought me into the sport. My dad introduced me to it, but when I learned about them, that's what gave me a burning desire. So there's nothing wrong with that. And what did they do inevitably? They evolved the sport. What did Bill Jordan do? Prior to Realtree, you had to hide in some stuff that our grandfathers hid in World War II in. It was effective, but not as effective as Realtree. So do we condemn these people who paved new streets and evolution for us to be more successful? What do we do? Inevitably we're all walking around with an iPhone that, Apple created. That's evolution too. So we're supposed to stand still in one area. So in evolution, we can decide where we want to go into it. And through our desire and what we want to get from it, I feel like we have the opportunity to partake in whatever we want to. But you can enjoy your side of turkey hunting a certain way. Just like I choose every day where I can, around 5 o'clock, I put my phone up and I don't look at it again. I'm certainly taking advantage of evolution, being able to communicate in business with my friends, with my kids, even with my wife. But a lot of times it's more important to me to take that part of my life and to apply it between 5 and when I go to sleep to my family and those right there around me. I don't always set and accomplish these goals, but it's at least a goal that I try to apply to myself. But I'm not sitting here trying to make it illegal for everybody to not be able to be on their phone from 5 o'clock to when they go to bed. So the same can be applied in hunting. We can get involved at the level that we love and we can enjoy it at the level we love it, but at the end of it, it is ours. And so for me, turkey hunting is the ultimate thing to partake in. And it has the deepest roots. It also has some of the deepest tactics. It has everything from elementary tactics to all the way as far as you want to go when you become this turkey and you understand this gobbler and you understand this flock. You understand that pecking order. You understand what it takes to hide and you understand what it takes to where every once in a while, if you are seen, that you can apply it in a situation that can help you. whether it's through a decoy, whether it's in your setup, the way the sun's hitting on you, the way certain days are crisp and clear and you can expect good gobbling, to what do you find on windy days, to what do you find on wet days. Because inevitably, success is through having fun. And everybody's version of fun is defined different. Some of us want to be successful. A fun turkey season is to make sure we got our limit. Some of us have no desire to be, somebody that's got to punch a tag or kill any turkey. It's about maybe hearing a few turkeys gobble and the rest of the day walking out in plow fields, maybe trying to find arrowheads. Some of us, it's just hunting 30 minutes before school and maybe still getting a chance to run by a Waffle House and get it scattered, smothered, and covered and get to history class on time. Some of it is just a stroll through the spring woods with our wife that we can reconnect with, and we have no desire to really even kill a turkey other than the fact if we just happenstance, maybe yelp a couple times and one running in, we get one. There's some of us that wake up every day and every tactic that we can use to kill a turkey under the means of that legal state statute we use. For me, I celebrate all those people because all of us have an opportunity to use the woods and especially turkey hunting as our psychiatry. You don't have to run off and get a pharmaceutical field just by having a chance to spend this time with your friend. And so I'm not going to be the judge and jury on how people do it. However, I do want to express ways that I've learned to help somebody be successful, whether it's the way you use camouflage, the way you use your call, the way you walk through the woods, the way you imitate what a scratching hen sounds like, the cadence that they have, what makes a hen turkey completely become this boss hen who really don't want any communication with other hens, and we wonder why this gobbler goes backwards when we're trying to yelp at this hen, or we wonder why this hen is aggressively yelping at us and we're cutting back and thinking we're making her mad and pissing her off, and indeed we have, and she turns and walks away. So when you look at all the tactics and all the technique, it's deep. I'm not here to tell somebody how they gotta hunt. I'm just here to tell somebody what can work and what you can apply to it that might bring you joy. And in conclusion, the number one thing I think that gets lost is we have the ability and freedom to approach it, to take the fun from it, that it means something to us. Everybody's different. One of the most important things that I got in my turkey vest, everybody would think, well, it's probably a pot call, it's probably a box call. If you want to know the truth, whether it's with my wife, whether it's with T-Bone, whether it's with my kids, the most important thing that's in my turkey vest typically is an old Little Debbie Swiss cake roll. Because let me tell you something, when the turkeys ain't biting, you're getting your butt kicked, I can sit there with my wife, with a friend. I've done it with Tyler Jordan. I've done it with his daddy, Bill. Me and David, I've done everything from pulled out buying a sausage to a Swiss cake roll. And let me tell you something, sometimes that resets you and that become a whole element of fun that we can talk about. A lot of times right after that, we'll get to yelping and have a turkey break and come right in. I think we forget. We do it because it's fun. If we're doing it because we want to flex, we're doing it because it makes us feel more secure, because we got a dead picture, whether we want to put, in South Alabama or Middle Earth, however somebody wants to post it, that's fine. But in reality, we all are in it together. And to some degree, we all agree because we have a passion to take a turkey. We just sometimes all do it different way. I just want to make sure through what I'm saying today and some of the things that I can share throughout this segment, I can show you things that's helped me be successful. Some of them I created through just my experience in the woods. Some of it was taught by people that just knew so much about turkey hunting that wanted to teach me a better way or technique or tactic. So for me, there's no way I could sit here in 3 days of talking and express everything that turkey hunting has meant to me. But it's been my number one thing that I go to that helps rebuild me when I'm depressed, if I'm down, if I'm frustrated, if I'm anxious. Time spent in the turkey woods, trying to find success. Sometimes that success is when I'm hell-bent on trying to get a gobbler flopping. Sometimes it's because I just want to be there with a buddy and talk and stroll and relax and just unwind, put my phone up, work a turkey, and many times, more times, get my butt kicked by an old hard-headed southern turkey that I can't figure out the code to break him to come in, whether it's with a decoy, whether it's with a call, whether it's with knowing the woods. And it keeps me that night laying in bed thinking deep of where I need to be the next day when I get a chance to hunt this turkey and wonder if he's even gonna be there. So We can look at it shallow. We can look at it in our own way that we think the whole world should hunt. But I think it's important that we know that there's a lot of different ways, and we can find the lane that means the most for us. And when it comes down to conservation and it comes down to giving back, we can all find our way to give back. And I think the biggest thing it gives back to us is simply fun. And it's certainly led to a lot of joy in my life, and I hope a lot of people understand what it can bring to their life. Well, there's a lot that can be said, and I've said a lot, but at the end of it, I love turkey hunting, and this is how I feel about it. But more importantly, we want to know how you feel, man. Please leave us a comment and let us know what you love about turkey hunting and what it means for you.